What's happening, guys? Silent Mike here, checking in. More questions on Instagram. That's at silentmike with 2Ks. On Snapchat, silentmike3. Let's get after it, my friends. See here, Starbucks. They don't sponsor me, but I mentioned in the past I cut down on energy drinks here and there. So like throughout the year, I'll just go on like 2 or 3 months where I don't drink any energy drinks. Not to eliminate caffeine, but just to prove to myself that I'm not addicted to them. So a lot of coffee. I've had an IV drip of iced coffee right now. Even though the winter is coming, it's getting nice outside, so maybe it'll be hot coffee soon, but still iced. Silent Mike, are you bilingual? I am not. My mom is from Argentina, and my mom was a Spanish teacher for 20 years, but I'm just lazy and never practiced, so I can understand Spanish pretty well. I don't even speak English that well, but I can understand Spanish. Like if I hear a conversation going on, I can definitely get the gist of it. It's just since I don't practice, my vocabulary disappeared. How important are back off sets when trying to gain strength? Back off sets are popular and they are a good way to get in training, or training volume, but there's tons of different ways to get strong. So if you did want to hit like a top set, I think back off sets are most popular with RPE. So if you hit like a top set of 5, RPE 9, and then you hit a bunch of back off sets, either drop like 10% of that or find RPE 7.5 and hit like 3 sets of 5. It's a great plan. I think there are like technical studies on it, but doing the same working weight, more like an RPE 8.5, can also have a lot of benefits. Here we go, shit's getting serious. Based on your genetics, age, and current numbers, what do you think your genetic limit for strength will be? Meaning, what is the most that you think you're capable of squatting, benching, and deadlifting, raw and natural? It's a pretty good question. We talked about a lot on a past Powercast about like genetic potential, and like obviously you don't know what it is. Like it's just kind of a made up thing. There is a limit of what my body and mass can lift, but I don't think you'll ever find that because hypothetically speaking, I'm not doing everything perfectly. I'm not training perfectly, eating perfectly, sleeping, everything's not as controlled. If everything was perfectly controlled, then we would find that exact peak, when I'm age 33 and then see a decline or whatever it is, again, all hypotheticals. But since we can't have perfect everything for just life, you can't really find that peak. But I don't know, man. I think I have a lot left in me, I don't take any performance enhancing drugs. Those will obviously help me progress a little faster, gain more muscle. But recently, my best still are 590 squat in sleeves, 405 bench, and a 705 deadlift. And I hit those with a lot of confidence that there's more in me. I never wanted those goals weren't like lifetime end numbers and then I retire, and they weren't numbers or actual weights that when I hit them, I'm like, fuck dude, I'm never gonna hit more than that. I do have confidence I'll squat well over 6. When and where, I don't know. I think I could still bench, plenty more weight. 405 wasn't intimidating for my head or my bone structures. Nothing rattled, nothing got injured. And then 705, I have a lot of confidence I can pull well into the 700. So we'll see. How to prevent hips from shooting up first when you deadlift? Could be a couple things. One could just be motor pattern. A lot of people push with their legs and they don't really pull with their upper back. So you kind of have to do both at the same time. One could be kind of a weak hamstrings where your low back's kind of taking the load. And then 3, where I think is most likely is people aren't finding tension in their hamstrings and glutes before they're pulling the slack out of the bars one turn, but pushing your hips back, getting tension in those muscles before you pull. Otherwise, you're just jerking with your quads, and then of course your hips are going to shoot up. How to get glutes to fire properly? Back's taking all the load. I did a bunch of videos. Maybe I'll do another one on glute activation and my warm-up. So go back, check it out, watch all my warm-ups because I kind of have similar issues. So I do try to activate my glutes before I lift. Pizza or burgers? If I had to choose, probably pizza. But both. When you played basketball, what did your workouts look like? When I played basketball, I luckily had like a trainer that worked with a lot of athletes, pro basketball players, pro football players, and top level college football players. So majority of our stuff was pretty basic, but it was a lot of football type stuff, I guess. When I work with basketball guys, it's kind of based loosely around like a conjugate method. What has your biggest oh wow moment where something turned into your training and maybe clearly you saw how to put on more muscle and strength? I wish there was like a real oh wow. The only oh wow was kind of like a mental change when I started to understand like, all right, I just have to keep putting in work. Focus on the work and training, you know, whether it's 6 sets of 4 or 4 sets of 6 or 10 sets of 3 or whatever it is. Just focus on that work. Don't worry about the weight, and know that the weight is just literally a number. Once you start thinking about 3 plates, 4 plates and being intimidated, then I think you stall mentally, and then you'll stall physically because of that. When will you be releasing the bench program that Omar mentioned? We did talk about releasing kind of a peak snippet of what I used to bench 405, and also what Bart used, Bart Kwan that is, used to hit the 40-pound bench PR. Omar's recently running some of it and just crushing PRs. I think he benched a lifetime PR even though he's at a low body weight. So that should be coming, guys. Go comment below if you want it to come faster. Maybe we can egg these guys on to get it released. But we're working on that, and we're working on a couple other programs to release to you guys, so you guys can check that out. Coming soon. Stay tuned, subscribe. More info to come. How often do you have a cheat meal? What's your favorite food to cheat with? So I don't necessarily have a cheat meal. There are days I don't track, but I do follow flexible dieting. So with flexible dieting, you're tracking your food and you're fitting in whatever foods you need or want to hit your macronutrients. You know, Layne Norton talks about it kind of as a budget. So you have a certain budget for that day, and then you spend it on whatever foods you like. So I do focus on lean meats and carbohydrates and veggies and fruits, but throughout the day I will have some ice cream here and there. That's the ice cream diet. I will have Chipotle here and there, even pizza here and there. So I don't necessarily cheat. There are days that maybe I go over my numbers or I don't track, but definitely no planned cheat days per se. Kind of, that's a little old school in my thinking. I have a friend here. I don't know if you guys can see her. This is little Bella. Bella, we have a question for you. Do you think it's going to be the Warriors and Cavs again in the NBA Finals? Bella. 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 She doesn't even care. Warriors, Cavs. Put your ears out and to the side if you think it's going to be the Cavs. Okay, do a backflip if you think it's going to be the Warriors. Well, looks like the Cavs are going to go for a repeat, boys. Thanks for your help, Bella. Now get lost. How do you calculate calories and macros intake while cutting? Basically, if the video didn't come out yet, it's coming out. I gave 5 tips on how to kind of start dieting and start tracking. So I'd refer to that video. It gives you tips to kind of find your way. But number 1 is just start tracking your food. Once you start tracking your food, you'll kind of find your maintenance. You'll weigh yourself. You'll track your food, you'll see where those calories kind of average out, you'll see where your weight averages out, and if your weight's going up, you're in a surplus. If your weight's going down, you're in a deficit. If your weight's staying the same, you're probably hitting maintenance. So then we'll adjust from there. Thought on decline bench. A bunch of dudes really get into it in my gym, but I don't feel as much carryover. Decline bench is a fine exercise, but if you're talking about increasing your regular bench, I would focus on your regular bench. I do some dumbbell incline, and I do a lot of shoulder work. That's it for this one, guys. Appreciate you. Like that bitch, subscribe to that bitch, comment below. If you guys want those programs, they should be coming soon. I'm doing my best, trying to give you guys, I just get so many emails and DMs and tweets and stuff about my programming and the stuff that I do with Bart and Omar. So we're working on it, coming soon, guys. I'm out of here.